The Tosa is a breed of dog of Japanese origin that is considered rare. It was originally bred in Tosa, Shikoku as a fighting dog and is the only breed still used in Japanese dog fighting. Ownership is restricted in some countries as a dangerous breed. Tosa Inu is an energetic companion with an outstanding fighting history and an emphasized Japanese equanimity. There is only one way to make friends with this muscular handsome man, by convincing him of his own strength and superiority. If this succeeds, you can count on respect and the most devoted love that exists. However, the breed prefers not to talk about its real feelings for the owner and people in general, so emotions for show and servility are definitely not about Tosa tokens. Highlights. The name Tosa Inu is derived from the Japanese province of Tosa, the island of Shikoku, where fighting dogs have been bred since ancient times. The breed is prohibited from keeping in a number of countries, including Denmark, Norway, Great Britain. Tosa Inu has many names. One of them, Tosa Sumitori, means that in the ring, representatives of this family behave like real sumo wrestlers. Tosa Inu is a rare breed, not only in the world, but also in its homeland. Not every Japanese has ever seen a samurai dog with his own eyes. All Japanese Mastiffs work proactively and independently make decisions in critical situations, anticipating the owner's command and attacking without warning barking. The easiest way to get a Tosa token is in South Korea, Europe and the United States, and the hardest one is in Japan. However, it is the animals from the land of the rising sun that have the greatest value both in breeding and fighting terms. The breed is insensitive to pain, so it is better not to bring the Tosa Inu to fights with fellow tribesmen in order to avoid injury. Representatives of the American line are an order of magnitude larger and heavier than their Japanese counterparts, since in the New World the breed is often used in weight pulling. History of the Tosa Inu breed. Fighting dogs, like the Tosa token, were bred in Japan as early as the 17th century. The samurai especially respected the events at which the animals were pitted against each other, so for several centuries Asian breeders only did what they experimented with genetics. After the reins of government passed to the Emperor Meiji in the 19th century, European breeders rushed to the east, who brought with them breeds previously unknown to the Japanese. Fighting dogs from Europe quickly proved to samurai pets their professional inconsistency, which hurt the national pride of Asians, so in the land of the rising sun they immediately began to mold a new, more improved variety of wrestling dogs. At first, pit bulls, Staffords, and Akita Inu passed on their genes for the Tosa Inu, which were later joined by the English bulldogs and mastiffs. And in 1876, Japanese breeders decided to add features to the breed of nobility and crossed their wards with German pointers and Great Danes. Surprisingly, but on the fronts of the Second World War, the Tosa did not suffer, since the prudent Japanese managed to evacuate the breeding stock to the rear. So immediately after the end of the war, experiments on creating an invincible fighting dog continued. In 1964, the Tosa Inu standardized the FCI and placed them under the Malaysian section. Moreover, Japan continued to be in charge of breeding and further improving the working qualities of animals, despite the fact that Tosa token nurseries began to appear in other Asian countries, for example, in South Korea and China. The breed managed to get to Europe and the American continent only by the end of the 70s, but its representatives did not become a living mainstream outside their own homeland. To this day, progressive breeders continue to acquire sire males and breeding bitches from Japanese kennels, whose livestock is unmatched in the world, thanks to strict culling. Individuals from Korea are also considered a valuable asset as they are sharpened for battles. At the same time, representatives of Korean lines lose to Japanese Tosa in size and sculptural silhouette. But the European and American Tosa tokens are more companion dogs than fighters, although the protective instinct in them is still strong. Tosa Inu breed standard. The Tosa Inu's appearance is a mixture of elegant imposing and restrained strength. Widely spaced front legs and massive chest, from the Stafford, a streamlined silhouette and proud posture, from the Great Dane, a brutal, slightly folded muzzle, from a Mastiff. This breed has absorbed a variety of characteristics of its ancestors, and it has done it incredibly harmoniously. In terms of the solidity of the constitution, samurai dogs are real athletes, for whom very vague weight limits are set. In particular, a correct Tosa Inu can weigh 40 and even 90 kilograms. Housing. Tosa Inu is a dog with a high withers, a straight back and a slightly arched croup. The chest of the breed is wide and of sufficient depth, the belly is elegantly tucked up. Tail. All Tosa have tails thickened at the base, drooping downwards and reaching the hock joints of the legs. Wool. The thick coarse coat looks very short and smooth, but it is this type of coat that is necessary for animals in the fighting ring. Color. The colors allowed by the standard are red, black, apricot, deer, brindle. The nature of the Tosa Inu. Due to the ban on breeding in a number of countries, the Tosa Inu has an image of ferocious monsters who do not know how and often do not want to control their own aggression. In fact, the Japanese Mastiff is quite an adequate pet, albeit with its own characteristics of character and temperament. First of all, it is important to understand the purpose for which the breed was bred and to be able to correctly assess the habits of the animal. Remember, the Tokyo fighting dog will not respect a timid and insecure owner. The owner of a representative of this breed must be at least a little samurai, able to assert his own eye and let the four-legged pet understand who is in charge in the ring of life. Tosa tokens do not harbor natural hostility towards any unfamiliar person. Yes, they are a little suspicious and do not trust anyone 100%, but if the outsider does not take threatening actions, the Japanese Mastiff will not settle score. His ancestors were not taught this. At home, Tosa is a good guy, which ones to look for. He is supportive of children, respects the traditions and rules of the family in which he lives, and does not arrange concerts due to the refusal of an additional walk or delicacy. But the territorial instinct among the representatives of this clan is developed by 5, and no training methods can drown it. Therefore, Tosa Inu are often found in the role of guards. Another important quality of the breed is fearlessness. Tosa token can be angered, teased, insulted, but just not forced to run away. The purebred Japanese Mastiff is a calm, patient and Eastern-style restrained creature. No wonder the representatives of this family are called philosophers for their easy aloofness and periodic withdrawal. You shouldn't expect a stormy expression of feelings from four-legged sumo wrestlers either. Tosa Inu can love the owner to unconsciousness, but in the manifestation of emotions it will continue to bend its line, that is, pretend to be a coldish phlegmatic. Outwardly, a brittle Tosa is too intelligent for such degrading activities as idle talk and whimpering. Accordingly, if a pet is distinguished by excessive talkativeness, there is a reason to think about its origin. Tosa tokens do not make special friendships with other pets, but they do not see them as an object of persecution. Of course, no one cancelled socialization from the first months of life, but in general the breed does not differ in bloodthirstiness. Moreover, Japanese Mastiffs are aware of their own physical superiority, so they do not attack small animals and children. Education and training. Japanese breeders prefer not to spread about the secrets of training and preparation for dog fights. But first, of course, socialization. Walk with the puppy on the street so that he gets used to the noise and the presence of other people. Introduce pets and allow them to participate in your parties with friends. The dog must know by sight everyone who enters the owner's house. It's better not to forget about your own authority too. Always go out the door and have lunch first, leaving the puppy content with a supporting role. Do not let the young Tosa roll on your bed and squeeze the baby less in your arms. The dog should see in a person a strong, fair owner and not a playmate or, even worse, a foster parent blinded by love. In general, if not a specialist, then an experienced owner should be engaged in the upbringing of a Tosa token. Moreover, it should be one person and not all household members who had a free minute. The training of Japanese Mastiffs is a long and energy-consuming process. This is a very special breed, not devoid of a bit of stubbornness, which is in no hurry to execute commands and categorically does not accept raised tones. For this reason, Western dog handlers prefer to use the method of positive reinforcement in training. The Tosa Inu respond more readily to treats and caress than to severe reprimands. A clicker used in combination with a treat can be a good helper in the formation of positive motivation. Besides commands, Tokyo fighting dogs are capable of understanding sign language and sound effects. Pointing to an object, clapping your hands, waving your hand, clicking your fingers. If you are not too lazy to give a specific meaning to each of the listed combinations, Tosa Inu will easily remember them and instantly react. As for bad habits, from which sumo dogs will have to wean, the most common among them is the desire to gnaw everything and everyone. Usually all puppies sin with such pranks, but the Tosa Inu has a special scope in such matters. Making a puppy forget about his biting addiction to furniture and human hands is not easy, but real. For example, buy new interesting toys and hide the old ones. At first, a keen animal will gnaw balls and rubber tweeters brought from the store, and then, when he gets tired of it, old toy supplies can be returned. Sometimes the Tosa Inu bite and gnaw from idleness, so the more often a pet walks and trains, the less time and energy it has for destructive hobbies. Maintenance and care. Tosa Inu is a dog demanding space, and it has no place in an apartment. Restricted in movement, Japanese quickly loses self-control and begins to turn into a barking, nervous creature. That is why a house with a spacious yard, and ideally also with an extensive personal plot, is what every Tosa Inu needs to maintain a serious, unperturbed image. Going to the other extreme, allowing your pet to live around the clock in the yard or aviary, is also not worth it. At night, even in summer, the four-legged friend must be taken into the room, having arranged an inviolable corner for him. Don't worry, regardless of its size, the Tosa Inu is a dog whose presence in the house you simply will not notice. These muscular Japanese are very modest and don't get underfoot. But the mattress for the Tosa should be chosen softer so that calluses do not form on the elbows from friction with a hard surface. In general, Japanese Mastiffs are not the most suitable breed for a metropolis. Even if the pet has easily grasped the basics of OKD and behaves impeccably during walks along busy streets, such a life does not cause him much joy. The need to constantly be in contact with strangers, large crowds of people and the rumble of public transport Tosu, if not unnerving, then keep in a slight strain. Hygiene. Pet grooming is always a routine. However, like all short-haired breeds, the Tosa Inu has an advantage here as well. They do not need to be constantly combed out. It is enough to remove dust and dead hairs from the body once a week with a rubber mitten or a soft bristled brush. They wash sumo dogs even less often, once every 3 months, and better generally as they become dirty. What you have to tinker with is the pet's face. Firstly, Tosa tokens are natural-born slobber, so get ready to go over the lips and chin of the dog with a dry cloth several times a day. Secondly, the slight wrinkling of the skin on the head of animals requires certain procedures to avoid the appearance of dermatitis. In particular, wrinkles must be regularly ventilated, cleaned and dried. All this can be done with the help of cotton swabs, wipes and disinfectant solutions. The Tosa Inu ear funnel will have to be cleaned once a week. The ear cloth, tight to the cheekbones, prevents air from entering, which stimulates the release of sulfur and the increased humidity inside the shell unnecessary for the animal. For this reason, the hearing organs of the Tosa need daily ventilation. Raise your ear and wave it slightly, driving air into the funnel. Walking and physical activity. Usually, breeders recommend long walks, 2 hours 3 times a day, as well as jogging behind a bike. In addition, endurance exercises are helpful, for example, walking with a collar with weights, moving loads. The only caveat is age restrictions. It is possible to strain the animal with vigorous activity only when its skeleton is fully formed, since forcing a teenage dog to work intensively, you risk ruining its joints. Usually, individuals under the age of 1 year are simply taken out for a walk at a calm pace. You can also try leisurely uphill climbs and short outdoor games. In the summer, it is more advisable to instill in the ward a love of swimming. The load on the skeletal system in this case will be more gentle. But it is better to save strength training and weight pulling until the pet is 2 years old. When walking in public places, the Tosa Inu should appear exclusively on a leash and in a muzzle. Even if at home a 4-footed athlete pleases with exemplary behavior and obedience, do not forget, the genes of fighting dogs are in each individual. Feeding. Theoretically, the Tosa Inu is able to eat both industrial feed and natural food, but many breeders agree that those individuals who were fed with animal protein of natural origin, that is, fish and meat, grow healthier and stronger. The only disadvantage of a natural menu is the time and effort spent searching for and then preparing suitable products. For this reason, the owners of Tosa tokens traveling to international exhibitions and dog shows prefer to keep their wards at the stern. Health and disease of the Tosa Inu. The average Tosa Inu lives up to 10, and much less often up to 12 years. No serious genetic diseases have been recorded for the breed, however, the predisposition to dysplasia of the elbow and hip joints is a proven fact. Moreover, the disease often manifests itself even in the offspring of healthy parents, while in puppies obtained from sick producers, dysplasia is almost always found. Sometimes joint problems can also provoke old injuries, as well as constant stress on the bone apparatus. They are susceptible to Tosa Inu and allergic reactions, while animals are characterized by various types of immunopathologies, for example, allergies to food, pollen, dust, veterinary drugs. Usually, allergic reactions provoke dermatitis, which is extremely difficult to fight, so you should be prepared for such surprises. How to choose a puppy. Although the Tosa Inu is not considered a popular breed, dogs still continue to suffer from commercial breeding. Unscrupulous sellers abuse inbreeding, closely related crossbreeding, and mating with doubtful pedigree producers, which affects the quality of litters. The harsh culling of unhealthy puppies, which takes place in Japan, is not held in high esteem by domestic breeders, so even defective individuals are put into sale, which subsequently create problems for the owners. To avoid this kind of deception, there are a number of general rules that will help you choose an honest breeder and a relatively healthy baby. The dogs must have enough space to move and play. In addition, animals living in cramped conditions and poorly ventilated rooms are always more likely to catch an infection. Please check if the cattery is FCI registered. If not, it is not worth buying any puppies in such a place, especially the Tosa Inu. Study the pedigrees of the litter breeders. Give the puppies a courage test by suddenly clapping your hands over their heads. Correct Tosa Inu will not rush off, sparkling with heels, but will only listen to a sudden threat. Look at how the puppy moves for any stiffness and limp that are common with joint dysplasia. Be sure to ask them to show the results of a survey of offspring producers for the presence of this disease. Tosa Inu price. Since it is still incredibly difficult to acquire Tosa Inu in Japan, most people continue to buy specimens from American and European. At the same time, it is important to understand that European and American individuals will be like Japanese tribesmen only in the exterior plan. In order to get a sustained character and combat training, the Tosa must be born in the land of the rising sun, from Asian producers. As for the cost, the standard price tag for pet class Japanese Mastiff puppies in kennels ranges from $800 to $1,100 US. The promising offspring of the international champions cost about $1,400 US and more.